You know what I don't get? In every comic, in everything I've ever seen him in, Quicksilver is like a total douche. And then somehow, in this new franchise, he's the coolest character ever. It's laser time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review talk about movies and comics too. Let's talk about watch Hello everybody, I'm LaserDude99. Welcome to another LaserDude review. This time it is a review of the brand new X-Men film, X-Men Apocalypse. This movie starring James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, and everyone you can think of from Sansa Stark to Poe Dameron. So X-Men Apocalypse takes place in this new, First Class X-Men universe, because we got First Class, which took place during the 60s, Days of Future Past, which took place during the 70s, and now it is time for the 80s, and it is the time where the first mutant ever to be mutated, that was born thousands of years ago in ancient Egypt, was trapped by his followers and has been found, and arises to see the new world that he wants to recreate in his own image. And then we also got stuff going on with Magneto, who has a tragedy happen to him, and Charles Xavier trying to stop him. And so we got Apocalypse getting his forces to change the world, and Xavier, who's trying to, just teach his school. He's not wanting to bring out the X-Men. He doesn't have a team of his superheroes anymore. He's just wanting to teach. But he has to confront with the fact that sometimes you're going to have to fight in this world in order to achieve peace. So this movie is an interesting film. I'm going to just go on record right off the bat and say it's not as good as Days of Future Past. I think Days of Future Past is still X-Men's best film. Which is surprisingly, because this movie has my favorite X-Men, Cyclops. But it's not too much they can do with his character as ways of him being a leader or anything, because, Cyclops, in the comics, he's a brilliant strategist and tactician, but here he's just gotten his mutant powers, so it's not like he is coming up with any master strategies just yet. But we got Apocalypse, who comes from this ancient Egypt and he rises, and he wants to change the world, because in his Apocalypse is all about strength. Only the strong survive, and he sees our world and our compassion towards those who are, sick or crippled, and he's like, this is awful. This is total. The weak have inherited the earth. So he gathers his forces, which includes Storm, Psylocke, Angel, and Magneto, to help destroy the Earth and be remade in his image. For pros, let's start with the pros of this movie. I like all the actors. There's nobody that I would say there were some moments with Cyclops that I thought, okay, this could have a little bit more punch to it, but in the end, I didn't hate the guy that got to play Cyclops. But everyone, I think, he has his moments. There's that very funny moment where he first demonstrates his powers for Xavier. That was really funny. Yeah, all the characters I think are pretty good. You know what? One of the things I was surprised is that I actually liked Beast a lot more in this film. Beast, I always found I didn't like the actor who played him in the First Class and Days of Future Past. I thought he was a little bit too plain. I didn't really get any character from him. But he has a couple of scenes in here that I'm like, yeah, that's Beast. That's Hank McCoy. That's good. He's doing good. We got a Mystique who is in this whole role now that she stopped Magneto from killing the president. She's now a hero of the mutant people. Everyone looks up to Mystique of, that's what we want to be like. We want to be like her. And we want to save, that's like the ideal, she's like the ideal role model, and she doesn't like being that. Mystique, I was talking with my family about this after we came out. The hero mold doesn't fit well on Mystique. Her powers are not something that fits well in a hero role. Mystique's powers are basically deception, a way to fool other people into thinking that she's somebody else. That doesn't really work with being the hero. You know, like, it works when you're a villain because you don't know if you're, like, it's all about, oh, I don't know if that person is my true ally, or if it's Mystique in disguise, you know? You don't know, that sort of thing. But it doesn't really work that way for the heroes. There's, like, one moment where she does something in this film. She's kind of, like, built up as, oh, she's the leader, It's weird because, like, obviously they're doing something their own with their franchise, and they didn't know how big of a star Jennifer Lawrence was going to be when they cast her as Mystique, you know, but then she blew up with Hunger Games and she won an Oscar, and now it's like, well, we might want to keep her, you know, to keep her around, let's give her character a lot more to do. And they do, it's just the hero role I still don't think fits Mystique. Mystique is a great villain, not really that great of a hero. It just doesn't work. Her power set doesn't really add that much to being a hero. However, I wouldn't say I hated any of her scenes or anything like that. Jean Grey was played really well. Kurt, there was a really funny scene with Beast, Mystique, and Kurt, where he's like, "Oh, why aren't you blue?" And then Kurt walks in and says, "I'm blue." And that was pretty funny. That could be a scene with, like, all three of the blue characters of the X-Men. I mean, did they not have? Did they run out of colors in the X-Men's drawings? Did they only have a lot of blue, so they had to make 3 different characters who had blue skin, fur, or both? But Kurt had some funny scenes. I liked Nightcrawler. He was a lot of fun. Angel got the shaft again because, like, other characters who Apocalypse grabs and trains, like, they're like, it's kind of funny because only Magneto is the only villain out of the 4 of his Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and even in the end, Magneto turns on him. Yeah, because Psylocke's a hero in the comics, Angel's a hero in the comics, and Storm is a hero in the comics. But anyway, about Apocalypse, I think he's lacking a little bit of personality. You know, it's kind of been the biggest problem. He's just an all-powerful being. It's hard to get personality from that rather than the whole, I'm a god and you will kneel before me. I have that with, like, Darkseid. I got that from Darkseid, and Darkseid, to me, is just cooler. So it's hard to pull it. They do have some scenes, like the scene where he, like, takes control of Xavier's mind control. That is, wow. That was like, holy shoot, holy shoot, holy shoot, holy shoot. That was pretty good. Surprisingly, I did not like what they did with Magneto in this movie. Because Michael Fassbender has been, like, one of my favorite parts of this whole reboot thing. I liked it. I liked him in First Class, and heck, I love him in Days of Future Past. His moments were absolutely incredible. I'm just gonna say, guys, I'm gonna go full spoiler review here, because all the stuff I want to talk about is spoiler related. If you wanted to hear my basic thoughts on it, I won't give a rating because I just started the review. But if you want to hear my basic thoughts, I think it's good. It's not the best out of him, but it's not a bad movie, so I think it's just it's a good X-Men film. And I'm actually interested where they go with the franchise from here. Okay, so what I was talking about is the scene where Magneto's family dies is really weak and really forced. Like, my sister started laughing when, like, we got all these, like, birds and everything flying around, and you get this one guard with a bow, and he's like, and it goes through 2 people? It wasn't even fully drawn. It was just, like, a little bit like this. If anything, the arrow should go like, but it goes through the child and into the mother, and it wasn't like he was going like this or something. And she was talking about, why didn't they have it a crossbow? Those have a hair trigger. What if he accidentally hit that? That would be more believable. But he was holding it like this, and he lets go, and it goes, and it goes to 2 people. That's stupid. That was a little stupid, and it was a little forced. And a lot of the other things, like the scene where he's like he kills all of those guards with the locket. I'm like, that should have hit me harder. That felt really weak for some reason. You know, it should have been like, we should have felt Magneto's rage and everything just going as like the amulet just go through their heads or something. I don't know. It felt really weak to me. And the rest of his stuff is like, Magneto, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, they keep on trying to talk to him, and he's just like, ugh. It doesn't feel like his heart's really into following Apocalypse. He's just like, well, I'm doing this, I guess, whatever. And I don't think it's Michael Fassbender's fault. I really don't think that those scenes, I think they're really rushed, and They kind of have to, because there's a lot of stuff in this movie. This movie is crammed in a lot, and it's kind of funny, because when we get to the final fight, I was thinking, like, wow, we're here a lot earlier than I thought we'd be. You know, like, is this really the final fight? And it was, but it's just like, it was very long, because everybody had to have their moments. You know, Quicksilver had to have his moment. Mystique had to have her moments. Xavier had to have his moments. Scott had to have his moment. Beast had to have his moment. And even Jean Grey had to have her moment. All of the it was interesting to see that. However, I want to talk about this. That scene with Quicksilver saving everybody in the mansion. That is great. Like, you can tell from the trailer that that's what's going to happen, but I'm just like, man, this is just great. It's so funny, and it's great, and it's like how calm he is while doing this, and it's just like, wow, this is really cool. How did they make Quicksilver so cool in these movies when he's such a little piece, he's like such a little turd in the comic? Like, if any of you are fans of Quicksilver from the comics, I'm just saying, from what I've read, he's always been a little whiny and a little bit of a... It's just he hasn't been cool. And in here, he was really, really cool. I like how they did Scott. I would have liked it more if they could have showed his leadership skills, but if they could do that in the second one, then in the next one, I should say, this is the third one out of the X-Men First Class thing. Where are they going to go next with this franchise? It's got to probably be... Okay, I didn't get the reference at the end. I thought when they were taking the blood and it was Weapon X and everything, they're putting it in a vial, I thought, oh, it's going to be X-23. That's great. That's cool. But I don't think that's really where they're going with it. Like, because, you know, X-23, because it said, like, SX something, and I don't know that. Someone who's probably a bigger X-Men fan than I am probably will know more of what that is about, but I don't really... I do like the villain, and I do like Apocalypse. He's a little bit of a I will destroy the world type of villain, but he has his good menacing moments. Like I said, the scene where he like controls Xavier's minds and uses him to like control all the missiles, that is really great. I'm like, dang, dang. It's like, dang. And I hope that the next film... Like, I don't think this is a good time to, like, advance 10 years. Because that's kind of where it's been going. It's been, like, 10 years every time. 70s, 80s. I think the next film should probably take place still in the 80s. Maybe, like, a couple of years later. But, I don't know. Either that or early... Maybe 1990... Ooh, if it was 1989, that'd be my year of my birth. But, you know, like, I want to see where this Phoenix thing, now that Jean Grey has unleashed these powers, I want to see where they go with that. And obviously, if they age up these characters by a full, like, 10 years, then you're probably going to have to get different actors for them. You know, surprisingly, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this film. I like Xavier. He's still great, although when you find out that he's, like, erased the memories of her girlfriend, she should have been really pissed about that. Magneto, I still love Michael Fassbender as Magneto, I just don't like how his story was handled. That felt a little sloppy to me. The villain is menacing, and I think overall his presence is felt throughout the film. The characters do get moments to shine for everybody. There's lots of cool moments all around, and yeah, that's so. I'd say that if you were to ask me where I would put it on the scale, I think probably more towards the middle. I think I'd put Days of Future Past is the best, then X2, then probably the first X-Men film, then Apocalypse, then Wolverine, then X3, then X-Men Origins Wolverine. That would be my order if I was to rank all of them. That's where I think I'd put the order of these films in. I think Apocalypse is a lot of fun. I think if you see it in theaters, you'll have fun with it. I don't think it's going to be a movie that's going to be beloved per se, but it was good to see Apocalypse on the big screen. I thought it was fun. I liked the characters all around. An enjoyable flick. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm LazyDude99, and I'm going to give X-Men Apocalypse 6.5 out of 10. It's a pretty good movie. I think it's pretty good. Nothing too spectacular, except for that moment where Quicksilver's running through the mansion. It's absolutely amazing. But I think the pacing's off a little bit in this film. I think the action is good, very well done. I think there's a little bit too many characters shoved in here, but overall I like it quite a bit, and I think that it's a pretty good movie, and definitely one if you are a fan of the X-Men films, I think you'll be mostly satisfied with. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm LazyDude99. Adios.
Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel, and wait for more coming soon.